What is up, YouTube? It's Blake Leapart again with my second episode of Lean Six Sigma Talk with me, Blake. So, if you watched the first episode or introductory episode, I mentioned that I was going to be doing in episode two talking about Lean Six Sigma employee suggestion programs or just employee suggestion systems. So that's what today's video is all going to be about. We're going to go through and we're going to talk about what the benefits of having an employee suggestion program are. We're going to talk about the components that I recommend, basic components that you have for an employee suggestion program or system to be effective. And then we're going to talk a little bit about an organization called Ideas America. Which is a good organization that handles Lean Six Sigma and employee suggestion program consultations and advisors and that offer advice, things like that. So that's kind of what we're going to get into today. So this is the first episode. We're going to kind of dive right into a Lean Six Sigma topic. So before we begin, I just wanted to show this graphic. I got this from Cartoon Stock. This graphic, I don't know how many of you can relate to this graphic of, the caveman holding up the wheel while the other two are saying, no, thank you. I'm too busy to entertain an improvement or something like that. If you can relate to this graphic, either, you're one of the ones that's saying you're too busy or you're one of the ones trying to show the will or an improvement to a suggestion, that's what employee suggestion programs are built to do. They are built to help solve this issue that you see in this graphic right here. It forces, if done correctly, they force companies to recognize and acknowledge employees' voices all the way down to entry-level positions. So that is one of the overall arching positives to an employee suggestion system and why it's important to implement one in your organization no matter what it looks like. So to kind of start us off with the benefits to an employee suggestion program, the first main one, and I kind of alluded to it already with the graphic, is it gives your employees morale, job satisfaction, and a sense of team spirit. Employee suggestion programs are meant to empower employees to make suggestions and feel comfortable making suggestions, whether it's in their job or company-wide, whatever it may be. That's the main benefit of an employee suggestion system. It gives them that job satisfaction, that job empowerment to make suggestions. And if built properly, which we're going to get into that in just a moment, but if built properly, these employee suggestion systems will help employees increase their job satisfaction. I think I mentioned it in my last video, but I am a certified administrator of suggestion systems, and I actually administer the employee suggestion program at my company that I work for. And it really gives employees a voice. If they see a problem, if they have a solution, no matter how big or small, they immediately put it in our system and it's evaluated. So it does increase your morale, satisfaction, and team spirit. Those are the big draws for an employee suggestion system. The next major benefit to an employee suggestion program of any type is engagement. So sort of related to morale and job satisfaction, it engages your workforce. A lot of companies that I've worked with or a lot of companies that I have sort of talked to, they mention that especially with some of their older employees or more seasoned employees, they tend to just want to come in, do their job, and leave. As well as some of the younger generation that's coming out of college, so straight out of college right now. So employee suggestion programs really engages the workforce. It gives those creative thoughts to be passed around at work. It really gets them involved in thinking critically about different topics that and issues that come up within a company. So it really engages the workforce to critically think. I know critical thinking, at least when I was in college, almost 10 years ago now since I graduated, critical thinking was a big topic that companies really were looking for, or a big curriculum driving initiative that companies were really looking for in college curriculums and in graduates coming out. So by engaging your workforce, you are getting their critical thinking going. I know my company, every now and again, we do campaigns for employee suggestions, where if there's a major issue going on at our company, we'll actually put out a communication saying, hey, we've got this issue going on. If you have viable solutions, or you think you have a good idea of how to fix this, submit it to our employee suggestion program. And if you do, you'll win money, prize money, or gifts, or whatever it may be that we're giving away for that particular campaign. But that's really where engagement comes into play. The next major benefit of an employee suggestion program is it increases your bottom line. It increases your profits, it increases your revenue, and also can drive down your expenses. I have the saying that every cent matters. Employee suggestions can be big cost-saving items. We've had several that, may only save about $20 per process iteration or run of the process. But when you multiply that by how many times you run the process, it ends up being into a large savings. So employee suggestions can really help you on the bottom line in a positive way. They can really affect it positively. My company has about 6,500 full-time employees, and, a suggestion on saving paper, do something completely electronic instead of using paper, it could go a long way, because you're multiplying, $10 a box of paper times 6,500 employees that use paper to print. So it's definitely important to have a suggestion program, because it could lead to big cost savings for you. I know at my company, we have the longest continuous running suggestion program in the United States. We've had one since 1952, but in the last, we'll say, 20 or so years, since 1998, we've saved over $250 million just by employee suggestions. So it's important to have an employee suggestion program in place, because the cents matter, the small dollars matter, and even and some suggestions aren't even small dollars. Some may even be big ticket items, big dollar items. So it's important to have that in place to capture those savings. The last major benefit I have, and so it'll get us to 4 total benefits of an employee suggestion program, but the last one is an increase in customer satisfaction. So obviously, if you engage your workforce and you have higher employee morale, productivity, and it leads to cost savings, you're going to have ultimately higher customer satisfaction. It's going to pass on to your customer. I know the customers for my company are always thrilled when we come up with an easier, cheaper way to offer a product to them. So employee suggestions can really drive customer satisfaction, because sometimes, no matter what industry you're in, your employees may be the user of the product you produce. So they may have some ways to put themselves in the customer's shoes and look at the product or the service that you're offering and make suggestions, from a customer perspective or from a customer standpoint. So it can drive customer satisfaction up. I know that one particular process or employee suggestion that I had dealt with hiring a more efficient way to onboard new employees to our company. And before the suggestion was made, we had 60 to 70% satisfaction, which is pretty high. That's high. But after this one little tweak of this suggestion, once senior management implemented, it jumped immediately to 20% satisfaction. So it went from 70% up to around the low 90s. So, we had an increase of 20% in customer satisfaction. So it's important to really implement employee suggestion systems because of that. ability to increase customer satisfaction. So again, the four major benefits of an employee suggestion program are increase in morale for your employees and their job satisfaction, increase in employee engagement, increase in profits or decrease in expenses, however you want to look at it, and then an increase in customer satisfaction. So those are the major benefits of implementing a employee suggestion program. So what do you need, or what components would you need in order to implement one? So that's kind of what we're going to get into now is, what are the bare minimum that you need in order to start one, or what should your suggestion system have? So there's 5 sort of main categories that I have here. One is the very first thing you need is executive or management support to implement one. Without senior management or executive level support in your company for an employee suggestion program, it's meaningless if you don't have it. Management must buy into it. They must show value into it. They must promote it and communicate their value throughout the organization as often as possible. I know that our management in my company, they look to the employee suggestion program that we have as a source of proprietary information that they can use to solve some of the more complex problems that we have. So they highly value it. They highly encourage it. They even will do certain types of awards within their division for the ones that submit the most, the one that's the folks that get the most implemented, or the ones that have the highest cost savings, whatever it may be. They highly support it. So I highly recommend that you buy in or get executive management buy-in to the employee suggestion program. And to do that, all you would need to do is go over the benefits that I just went over, those 4 main ones. And obviously, depending on your company culture, you can add or subtract whatever you need to those benefits, or flesh them out however you need to. But those are the major the major advantages to having an employee suggestion program. So make sure that you get that executive support. The next major component, once you have executive support and they communicate it throughout the organization and market it, is deciding what format you want it in. So, when you think employee suggestion program, you think a suggestion box, the little wooden box that sits on the wall where there's paper and pencil, somebody fills it out, drops it in, and every now and again somebody checks it. That's fine if that's what you want to do. That's perfectly acceptable. The key is there you've got to regularly check it and follow up with employees on their suggestions. That's what you got to do if you do it paper. More to times these days, folks are doing completely electronic employee suggestion systems, where there's several different companies that offer idea management software. You just Google it, or whatever search engine you use. Just go in and type in employee suggestion software or idea software, and you'll get a whole list of different developers. But you can do it completely electronic, where even it routes through for approvals and implementation completely electronic. You could also do a hybrid model, which what I mean by that is both paper and electronic. So for my company, we are probably 99% electronic. We have a in-house built application that our IT department developed that completely routes employee suggestions entirely virtually or entirely electronically. But the 1% is we do have employee suggestion boxes with paper and pencil out in certain areas of our company where employees do not have access to a computer or to be able to log in and submit an idea electronically. So what we do in those cases is we go out and regularly collect those ideas on a monthly or biweekly, whatever makes sense basis. And it's got the same information that the electronic submissions have, but it's through paper. And we actually convert those electronically, so it's all in one system of record. But it's a hybrid system. We made it work to what we needed to. So I would say look at your company, do what you think is best. Ideas America, which I'll talk about towards the end of this video, can help with that determination. an assessment of your company culture to decide which system would be best. But electronic, as we are in the 21st century and 2020 here, at least when this video is shot, that electronic is the way to go nowadays. But paper works if as long as you make sure that it's regularly checked and whatnot. So those are that type of component there that you need is how do you actually get the suggestions in. The third major component is what do you need on the form? So what goes on, what do you need to collect? So there are 4 things that I recommend that you put on any suggestion that you implement. One is the title of the suggestion, so you can, if it's electronic, you can easily search for the title or you kind of know what's coming. Second is a description of currently what's happening. So you need a lot of, in order for an idea to be effective, you've got to be able to understand what the current problem or what the current issue is in order to understand the new situation or the benefits. So a description of what currently is going on, what the current problems are. Then the new idea itself. What's the solution? Describe to me what you're going to do about the problem or current process you just described. And then the last field I would say you would need is the benefits of the new idea. So, you've described the current situation. You've told me what your solution is. Now, what's my return on investment? What's my benefit of implementing this solution? It doesn't necessarily have to be a dollar figure or cost savings. It could be a safety improvement. So whatever it may be, just put it in the benefits section, whether it's, like I said, safety improvement, productivity, cost savings, or an environmental improvement, impact, or what we call green. So, those 4 fields are important there. The next major component you need to your employee suggestion program is a review or approval phase. So obviously you're going to get suggestions that are not value added or will actually cost money to implement without a high return on investment. So in order to weed those through or filter those, you need some sort of review or approval phase to your suggestion system, whether it's one person, whether it's a group of managers or a committee, whatever it may be. You need some sort of review of the idea and then a decision of whether, okay, we've looked at this idea, should it be approved or should it be declined, and here's the reasoning why. The important thing with this is whatever review phase you implement, you need to make sure that you put a justification in for why you either approved the suggestion or you denied the suggestion for implementation. And that needs to be filtered back to whoever suggested the idea. So that's why it's important to have that review phase in. And it needs to be timely too. The suggestions, you don't need to wait 6 months before you get the suggestion. You need to look at them, you need to review them and approve them or deny them, whatever the case may be, and provide that justification back. I will mention 2 things. If you decide to deny a suggestion, an employee suggestion, provide positive feedback in your response. Just don't say denied and leave it at that. Write a positive justification, such as, we really value your input. We really appreciate your idea that you've submitted to us, but we just can't do it because of budget. We just can't do it because, these things in your suggestion don't add up. Or if we implement this, then it would adversely affect us in this part of the company, which would drive us further down the tube. So you got to, give a justification, but do it positive, and always thank them for their suggestion. Thank them, tell them, we appreciate your ability to critically think and be engaged. Please submit more ideas as you think of them. So I always do that when I'm the first approval in my company when an idea comes through. I see them all, and if I deny one, I always put that as the sort of the first and last thing in my reasoning for decline is, thanks for your suggestion, however, justification, and then at the very end I always put, thanks so much for your idea, and we look forward to more suggestions from you. It provides that positive feedback to that employee. Then the last major component to an idea suggestion system is the award system. So you need to be able to reward your employees for their suggestions on whatever criteria you want. You know, highest amount submitted, highest amount implemented, highest amount of cost savings, whatever it may be. You need to acknowledge and award them. I know for our company, we do drawings for gifts based on monthly submissions. Doesn't have to be accepted, doesn't have to be approved. Just if you submitted one, we put your name in a random drawing, and we draw 5, and you get a gift, a very nice gift. 5 folks do. So, you know, that encourages participation in the program. The other benefit here, or the other thing we do is, you know, we do gift cards. So if an idea gets implemented, then whoever implemented the suggestion and whoever made the suggestion actually get a gift card of their choosing. So, you know, come up with a reward system. If you're a very small company and can't afford to do cash prizes, you know, do a recognition luncheon. Or, you know, if the employees don't interface with the CEO a lot, then do a special meeting with the CEO to recognize your employees for their suggestions. But some sort of award system is needed in order to encourage participation as well as spur the implementation of ideas. A question I get frequently, and this kind of goes back to the review approval phase, number 4, a minute ago of component. A question I get frequently is, should suggestions be anonymous? Meaning, can an employee submit an idea, they're scared to put their name to it, but they really think it'll help the company? My answer to that is, yes, you should have an anonymous option for employees to fill out an idea. Our company is fairly large. Like I said, 6,500 employees. I'm the only one that sees their names. Our system is completely electronic, so I see who submitted it, but once I approve it and it goes to the second and third round of approvals, none of those other approvers see the name of the suggester. I'm the only one that sees it. And I don't distribute that information unless there is a legitimate business reason that I need to. So having somebody fill out one anonymously is acceptable, and you'll get suggestions, or you'll get more suggestions that way. It's just that if you want to award that employee for doing an anonymous suggestion some type of way, then somebody, at least one person, would need to know their name. But you know, most of the time, if they're filling it out anonymously, that means that they probably don't want any recognition. But yes, I get that question a lot, and it is perfectly acceptable to have anonymous option. I wouldn't make your full system anonymous because there are those employees that love to get the cash prizes or awards or recognition, whatever you choose to do. But I highly recommend that you do have an anonymous option that they can select. Okay, so I've gone over the benefits. I've gone over the main components of a suggestion system. So logically, where do you start? What do you need to do in order to implement one? I've given you the main components, the benefits. I mentioned executive support, which you would need kind of first off to go with. But once you get executive support, or you get executives saying, yeah, we'll consider it, you know, go do your research and come back and with a plan. What does that plan look like? I mean, where do you start? Well, as I mentioned in episode 1, and as I mentioned earlier in this video, there is an organization out there called Ideas America. It is a national organization. I'm actually on the board of directors for it. They help companies with their Lean Six Sigma programs and employee suggestion programs. There are several American business members. My company is one of them. BMW has been a member. There's several other companies that are members to this organization, and they partner with international companies as well. So there's an Ideas Arabia, Ideas Germany, Ideas United Kingdom, Ideas Austria. So all those companies and those organizations kind of partner or sister organizations to Ideas America, and they really help benchmark and whatnot. But essentially what Ideas America is it allows companies with Lean Six Sigma and employee suggestion programs to benchmark with one another, get industry practices, understand what they're doing with each other. It also allows them to compete with one another. Every year in about the September time frame, Ideas America holds a global conference in the United States somewhere where the folks from the other Ideas organizations, Austria, Dubai, Arabia, wherever it may be, they come over and they compete with the American companies on most innovative suggestions, best safety suggestions, best environmental suggestions, overall breakthrough innovation, employee suggestions, as well as Lean Six Sigma projects, different types of lean initiatives that they've started that have, resulted in these waste eliminated, or Six Sigma projects that have reduced variation. So they actually compete with one another. So it's a very good organization to look into. If you go to Google, just type in www.ideasamerica.org and it should come up. So Ideas America is a good organization to get in touch with. In order to start your suggestion program, Ideas America can come in and do an organizational assessment. So what the organization does is one of the board of directors who's qualified will come in. If you request this assessment, there is a charge for it, so all the details are on the Ideas America website, but there is a charge for it, but it's an assessment where they come to your company and they do a cultural assessment and they do a suggestion system assessment. So if you're brand new, want to implement one, you've got management support, they will come in and do an assessment and give you a recommendation of how to implement one. So, like I said earlier, they'll come in and they'll do tell you whether an electronic system would work best, a paper system to start off with, then move electronic, or a hybrid system. They'll go over which components they think you need or how it should be worded, things like that. They'll actually do an organizational assessment for you. The other thing they offer is an organization called Basic Concepts, which Basic Concepts is essentially a certification class to teach companies and their program administrators tips, tricks, and tools of how to grow your employee suggestion program. So if you're just starting out, Basic Concepts is a good certification course that Ideas America teaches and holds that they can offer. And with COVID and the coronavirus and everything going on right now, they can do it virtually. So that option is there. There is a small fee for that as well to take that certification class, but it is well worth it. A lot of companies that have taken it, or a lot of individuals that have taken it, have really credited the success of that course to the growth of their suggestion program. The last major certification course or offering that Ideas America has is Certified Administrator of Suggestion Systems, or CAS, C-A-S-S, which I am. I'm a certified CAS individual. And what that does is it's more for your, once you get going in your employee suggestions, it certifies individuals to make recommendations and to make improvements in your employee certification, or employee suggestion program. So it will give those individuals that extra bit of knowledge of how to plan your suggestion system for the future, or analyze market trends to understand how to further grow your employee suggestion system now that it's been going for a few years. So it's really a beneficial certification in that, and there's a small fee for that as well. But Ideas America offers those three certification classes that I mentioned: the assessment, which isn't a certification class, but it's an assessment, the Basic Concept certification, and the CAS certification. They offer all three of those to non-members. So you don't actually have to be a member of Ideas America in order to sign up for those. Like I said, it's all on their website. The board of directors are listed there. So definitely look into it. And again, that's www.ideasamerica.org. They do a great job in helping companies with employee suggestion systems, as well as Lean Six Sigma programs, because they can also do an organizational assessment on that, understanding what your culture is and saying, we recommend that you implement these this lean format or this Six Sigma format. So definitely something to look at. Other than that, with Ideas America, membership, I'll kind of go over that. So I mentioned what non-members can do. They can do the the assessment, the basic concepts, and the CAS certification, which members can do those as well. But there are specific things that being a member of Ideas America gives you. So these are actually benefits that you would have to actually become a member, which there is an annual membership fee. What you would have to pay the membership fee, and then you could get these benefits. One is a benchmarking report. So every year, Ideas America does benchmarking statistics with the sister organizations such as Ideas Arabia, like I mentioned earlier, Ideas Germany, Austria, etc. And they produce those statistics, including the American members. So the American domestic companies that respond to the survey, their information's in there as well. And it basically goes over, it benchmarks Lean Six Sigma employee suggestion programs, where each company stands. How many do they get submitted? How many get implemented? What's the average cost savings? What's the average length of time that a suggestion sits out there before it's approved or implemented? So, excuse me, those are the different things that you can do with that benchmarking survey. Newsletters. So Ideas America puts out newsletters with case studies and written industry trends, things like that. There's also the conference. Like I said, every year there's a global conference. This year it was virtual due to coronavirus, but we still had a global conference. So that's what membership does, and you have to be a member in order to compete in the conference. You can attend the conference as a non-member. There is a conference fee, of course, but you can attend as a non-member. But in order to win awards, global awards and whatnot, you have to be a member. So, in order to compete with the American companies that are members, the international, you do have to pay your membership fee. But Ideas America provides those services to you. So I would highly recommend checking Ideas America out. It's a great organization. It helps do the assessment to get you started. So that kind of wraps us up as sort of a recap here. Remember that your major benefits of a suggestion system is increased morale, satisfaction, increased engagement, increased profits and revenues, and increased customer satisfaction. Your major components of a suggestion system are: you need executive support. That's first and foremost. You need to figure out what type of suggestion system you want. You want it to be paper, electronic, or a hybrid. Figure out what fields you need in the suggestion itself. I recommended the title, the current situation, the solution, and then the benefits. You need some sort of review approval process of the suggestion that's timely and provides positive feedback, and that also has an anonymous component. And then you need some sort of reward system that rewards employees for their engagement and their suggestions. And then, check out Ideas America. They do a great job in helping organizations get started. So that's it for episode 2. I really appreciate those that looked at episode 1 and may watch this video. So I really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and leave comments if you'd like. And make sure to leave comments about upcoming topics that you would like me to talk about. For episode 3, that will be shot in the next few days, I am probably going to do a one on what the differences are between Lean and Six Sigma. A lot of folks get them mixed up, and a lot of cases they are interrelated. So there's a lot of times that they actually overlap with one another. That's why it's called Lean Six Sigma. But there are slight differences between them, and so we'll go over those differences, maybe some little bit of tools that are used for each one. We'll go through those differences and some other organizations that can help you out with Lean Six Sigma. So that's the plan for episode 3. Like I said, if you have other topics you would like me to discuss, feel free to drop it in the comments section. Other than that, I appreciate you logging in, and have a great day.